So many people, including you, might dream of starting a homestead one day. You dream of the fresh eggs, the homegrown meat, fresh produce. But a lot of first-time homesteaders tend to make the same mistakes. Today we're going to go over our top 5 mistakes that we've made that will hopefully help you save time, save some money, and maybe some sanity. Turkey. All right, we're gonna go over the top 5 mistakes that a lot of new homesteaders make. And maybe stick around to the end, because the last mistake that we made, it was probably one of the more important ones. So our mistake number 1 is starting too big, whether that's trying to gather all of the animals and raise everything, or raise all or grow all of the produce that you can. It can be very overwhelming, and in doing so you end up doing a lot of things half as good as you could if you were to focus on a few animals or a few garden beds. We definitely tried to take on too much at once, and now we kind of just raise turkeys, chickens, and pigs. And now we've been doing it for a few years, and now we're looking to expand into other things, maybe rabbits, maybe a grazing animal, something like that. One of the other side effects of starting too big and gathering everything all at once and just jumping right into it is you don't take the time to kind of observe your land. And so there's some things that we've done, some infrastructure we've put in that I kind of want to change now, and we kind of jumped into it. So just, make sure that you're kind of observing your land, seeing how the water flows and all that kind of stuff, so that you make the best choices right off the bat. All right, mistake number 2 is going to be underestimating costs. Everything has a cost, and unfortunately costs are going up as we speak. So feed costs can add up very quickly, fencing costs, even buying the animals, vet bills, all these things, kind of, tools that you need to perform the different tasks. All these things add up. We've been caught a little bit with our feed, where we've ordered a 1,000-pound tote, and then all of a sudden we realize we're not going to make it to the next ordering time. So then what do you do? So make sure you plan out your feed costs for the entirety of the life of the animal that you plan on raising. And if you're going to raise a grazing animal heading into winter, making sure that you have some sort of hay or anything that they need to eat if the grass isn't growing. All right, mistake number 3 is going to be making sure you have your infrastructure in place. So making sure your fencing is good and you have enough of it. Making sure that you have waterers for each animal. Making sure you have structures, the housing, all that stuff, the chicken coop, chicken tractor, whatever it is that your animal needs, make sure that it's in place first. If you're going to be raising chickens, make sure you have a brooder. With the fencing, we use, a lot of the electric fencing you've seen in our videos. But if we have, our chickens in 200-foot or 50-foot nets, well, you have to have 2 more in order to move them. You need to be able to set up their next paddock. So making sure we have all of that stuff in place kind of before you get the animals is very, very important. All right, mistake number 4 is ignoring the time commitment. Homesteading isn't just do it on the weekends hobby type thing. Each and every day you have to come out, feed your animals, whether it's raining, whether it's snowing, whether it's 95 degrees, all your animals need feed, they need water. You got to make sure that their water's topped off, their feeds, in their feed bucket. And you also have to spend time planning when you're going to move the animals, when you're going to butcher the animals, when they're going to arrive, how long they're going to spend in the brooder. Do you need to build another chicken tractor before you get them out of the brooder? So all that stuff takes a lot of time. Now, I will say that there are some days where you're feeding the animals in the morning and you're feeding the animals at night, and that's kind of all you're doing during the day. But that time commitment will catch up. Like say you need to butcher a flock of 40 birds. Well, you know, do you have friends that you can help with you? Can you do it yourself? If you're gonna butcher these chickens one day, then you may have to part them out another day. If you're gonna can chicken that's already been processed, then it's another day, you know, so that's all these things you need to plan out, and it's not always readily apparent at the get-go that there's gonna be a lot of time commitment. All right, we're on to mistake number 5, and there are a ton of bugs flying around my face. So mistake number 5 is lack of community and trying to do everything yourself. This one's kind of tricky, and this one has, you know, earlier in the video I was talking about the one that, you know, kind of pushed us to our limit. We're still struggling with this. In our town, we do have some good friends that have definitely helped us with homesteading, but right now it's just me and my wife, like currently on the farm. Now, you people who've watching, you know that my wife's due basically any day now, and so we will be adding somebody else to the farm, but they'll kind of be taking some of that time as opposed to contributing. And we're also kind of stubborn, and so sometimes it's like, let's see if we can get it done ourselves. Now, in the past, in like Alabama, we didn't really have any community that was gonna do any of the homesteading stuff, and that was really challenging, and it spreads you very, very thin at times. Luckily, now we've had these connections out here in North Carolina, and though we're gonna try to process our turkeys ourselves, they're basically ready to be processed a week or two after my wife is set to deliver our baby boy. So I am gonna probably lean on some of my friends and see if they can help. They've even offered to just process all of them for us, which we are grateful for. But yeah, lack of community can really, really stretch you thin. It's a very, what's the word? Like solitude lifestyle. Like you don't get off the farm that much. You don't go on vacations. You don't, you know, you don't leave for an extended period of time just because you have to have someone watch all your animals. So if you're going to start out on your own, I would suggest, you know, visiting a few local farms, just making connections, go to the farmers markets, chat with them. Everybody I've chatted with at a farmers market, they don't hold on to trade secrets. They'll share. I've had people recommend feed to me. I've had, you know, people recommend looking into a certain type of, you know, electric energizer for our fence and stuff like that. So there's definitely a lot of value in the community. All right, before I wrap this up, I'm gonna move out of this area. There's a lot of little gnats. All right, so those are our top 5 mistakes that new homesteaders make. We've pretty much made all of them ourselves, and this is proof that it's not detrimental to your homestead. It might take some work and some learning to get through, but you know, if you kind of keep your head down, if you kind of recognize the mistakes and just kind of adapt from them, you know, you can kind of keep growing your homestead, just like we've been doing this for a number of years now. Yeah, and so if any of you guys have any like great tips or tricks or just stories that you guys have been through on your homestead, if you want to throw them in the comments, that would be swell. But yeah, other than that, again, I want to thank you guys for watching, and have a good night.